Welcome to my daily review. Today is Monday, June 30th, the last day of June, the last day of the second quarter. And it was a fantastic quarter. And it was a fantastic month of June since we've rallied since the Liberation Day here. Once again, I just for review purposes, the 27% correction, which is, our fourth bear market in the past, I don't know, 8 years, 7 years. And then a 37% uh, rally to get back to even, and now we're way past even here. 20,204 from December 16th. Today, we were up 100, or call it 96 points, 0.47%, close at 20,369. So we're well above the December 16th high, making new highs. There's nothing more bullish than an index, all of the indexes making new highs, or your leading stocks making new highs, which I'm going to show you plenty of here in a minute. But first, since it is the end of the quarter and the end of the month, I wanted to take a step back, as Phil Lesh and Bob Weir would say, take a step back and just kind of look at, where we've gone here. This is your correction, your V-shaped rally, and now you're at new highs. And you're going to hear a lot of folks at new highs saying, "Oh, it's a bubble, it's overvalued, it's too high," and that's pretty typical, language when markets start making new highs. But there's nothing more bullish than new highs. So just ride the wave while we have it. Remember, I told you that, this rally here is about 11 weeks old, and I expect it to be anywhere between 12 and 18, 12 minimum, 18 probably maximum. So you got, 1 to 5 or 6 weeks here in this rally left, I believe, but it doesn't have to be, right? We had our three waves down here in the bear market, right? And then we rallied up. There's your three wave down in 2023. And then you had your like, I don't know, like 18-week rally and then a cool off period, right? A pullback. Then you had about an 18-week rally. And then you had a nice little correction. Then you had about an 18-week rally. And then we've had this, the tariff correction, I would call it. And then when the tariffs change, the market changed. And if we want to really take a step back here, we're going to go to, I can't go back to 1971. I remember the day the Nasdaq became an index, and people thought, "Oh my God, this is just junk." You want to be in the Dow Jones, the GM, the GE, the IBMs of the world. But times have changed. But over time, this is going to go higher. I mean, I know it's what 20,000. What I say, 369. Yeah, today, but in 10 years, it's going to be a lot higher. And you have these corrections along the way. There's your financial crisis, your bear market, and then I said since 18. You had your Jerome Powell interest rate kerfluffle bear market. And that was a pretty severe one. It's 24%. It doesn't look like much. And you had your COVID crash bear market. Then you had your higher interest rate Jerome Powell bear market. And then you had your tariff bear market. So you've had four here since 2018. We're not going to have another bear market. I mean, this quickly. I know things are happening much faster, and four bear markets in 7 years is pretty remarkable. But yeah, we're not going to have another one just right yet. The bears are getting a little greedy to think that the market's going to pull back for them. Yeah, it's just not it's not practical. It doesn't happen, right? It hasn't happened for them. And so yeah, I'm expecting new highs to go higher, and eventually it's a rubber band. It'll get stretched too much, and then it'll pull back, and we'll have another correction. But for now, ride the wave while we have it. I've got a ton of stocks there and a relative strength stock list, and that's what you pay for at MC Stock Charts. So take advantage of these lists, take advantage of these setups. And yeah, well, I'm enjoying the market. I mean, I'm taking advantage of it the way I like to. I have some slow stocks, I have some high beta stocks, just a mixture of it all. And it's just a really strong market. That's why this is going to be a super long video. Just warning you up top. I'm not going to go to the SPY or anything like that, except for I lied. Let's go to the S&P. I lie a lot in these videos, if you haven't noticed. Yeah, remember it was having trouble with 6,000, and then people were saying it was going to double top and it's going to crash. Well, all it did was pull back to its 21. And what has it done since? Now it's at 6204. It's gone up, over 200 points since this debate was going on. So I think the market has proven itself. You always want to ask yourself, has the market proven itself? Well, I would say, clearly it has taken out the old high of 61.47 there. So Yeah, index is making new highs. So anyway, I'm going to move on. In the morning, today was the last day of the month, and we had a great month, as I just showed you. I didn't show you what the SPY did this month. It was up nearly 5%, okay? And the Nasdaq was up 6.5%. So yeah, those are good months, right? But tomorrow morning we start a new quarter, the third quarter in a new month, the month of July. And so maybe something will change. Maybe we'll see a new rotation because that's what been the one consistent of the rallies at rotation. It's not just one group. It goes from construction to defense to AI and software and hardware. And it just moves around, right? Health apps and yeah, I mean just energy, space. It's just a lot of different types of names that are doing well. So that rotation I expect to continue. So what has been working might not work tomorrow. So you got to wake up and ask yourself, which I do every morning, where's the money flowing? What stocks and what groups are Wall Street rewarding today? And it's obviously recently been the AI, the hardware, the software, the energy, the data centers, and that'll probably continue. But I expect some other groups to get some love here pretty soon. But I'll wait until that happens, and we're just going to observe what is actually happening and not try to predict what's going to happen in the market. I've got to start, with Meta because Meta, making new highs here, and it's one of the Mag 7 stocks. I won't call this one the Lag 7. Making new highs, very bullish for all of the indexes, right? This one's not in the Dow. Microsoft is in the Dow, though. So this one's going up. And today, Apple went up on news. It might cut a deal with Anthropic. I mean, if you just look at this, it's getting pretty silly, right? You just mention AI and the thing just spikes like crazy in the middle of the day. So that's kind of the market that we're in right now. AI is really being rewarded. I was kidding that some of these restaurant stocks and some of these drug stocks, they have to start mentioning AI in their conference calls now because that's all that's being rewarded. And I expect that to change pretty soon. But yeah, those two doing fantastic. Excuse me, those three at Apple, Microsoft, a couple that aren't looking so great. Google. I really like the chart setup. This cup trading tight near the base. Excuse me, trading tight within the base. Moved out on Friday, but then pulled back today. I like the setup here in Google. Amazon pulled back today. I think they have their, it got a little extended above the five here. Do I have the five or the 10? I have the 10, so I got to move it to the five because I'm going to be doing leading stock. That's okay for the indexes, but for your leading stocks, they should be finding support at the five. Anyway, Amazon, yeah, it's just, I think it's Prime Week next week, but that one looks good. Tesla, not so much. Ford said that Waymo had better, these guys, I don't know. It's too political for me. It's too hard. In a market like this, when stuff is too hard, you just got to stay away from it. You can see the RS line heading south as the market goes up and you go sideways. That's going to make the RS line. But I don't know. It's a hard stock, too controversial for me. So anyway, and the last one is NVIDIA, which has been very strong. Got to mention the semiconductor names because if semiconductors want to rip, that's going to be great for the market. Broadcom today, nice 2.5% move. AMD, now it had a good week last week, but today pulled back to its five. And to me, that's an area where it should find support. We'll see tomorrow. I got to go to the weekly because I mentioned, yeah, the last few weeks it's just been ripping with big volume here. You see these big blue volume bars. That's institutional footprints for a big, company like this with 1.6 billion shares in the float. It takes a lot of demand to move that kind of float. And so, yeah, it's not Aunt Sally buying AMD. Anyway, I'm going to get off of that. Did the indexes, the Mag 7 semiconductors. I want to go to a group that I like. It's been really strong. The Electrical Contracting Manufacturing Group, CLS. This is leader in the group. And I was going to put this. I had a ton of stocks I was going to put on my ready list, but I didn't. I limited to I think about six or seven. But yeah, CLS is one that I like a lot. JBL, they've been ripping ever since their earnings report. You can see those David Ryan ants. It's been up, I don't know how many days in a row here 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I don't know. I ran out of fingers. Got to start using my toes. to count. Yeah, and TTMI, which reminds me kind of TMI, but not too much information for this one. This one's just ripping higher. And we're seeing a lot of this, I keep mentioning in the stocks that I put on my relative strength list in the morning at mcstockcharts.com. You know that list, and this is on that list, and you can see a lot of the stocks, well, practically all of them, just finding support at the five, just finding support at the five, consistent pattern. And then when it rips up here, you got to wait for the five to catch up. Even though it's trading higher, that five will catch up. It might be at higher prices, right? But that five will catch up. One day it'll pull back, and that'll be your opportunity to seize on TTM Technologies. That's a group I like a lot. And then got a hold of my friend, the Sola brothers here this weekend. They're just, yeah, morale's good when your stocks are at all-time highs, right? Had a big week last week, nearly 10%, and it looks like maybe a little short stroke pattern we'll get this week. We'll see. Sanmina looking very good. Anyway, I'm going to get out of that group. I want to get to some of the software names. AI, software, defense, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Palantir, I wanted to focus on this. On Friday, you could see this, the action on Friday, I believe it was related to rebalancing. You could see at the open, they're just getting out of it, just selling it. They have to sell it. Weakness all day. And then at the close, just complete dump, right? Last 10, 15 minutes. This is a 5-minute chart. So today, I'm expecting this thing to pop a little bit, and it did. It was up, what, 4%. I expected a bigger move. It just had a quiet inside day off the 21 here. So it undercut the 21, now rallied back above it, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with Palantir. I just expected a little more here. Back over 140, but it didn't want to comply. Like last week, we had it like 144. So to me, it needs to bounce sharply here in the next few sessions. I mean, when you go down, 9.5% like that, 13.5 bucks, you want to get, it got back five. I shouldn't complain. It got back 5.5. I just wanted more. We all want more, but give it some time later on this week and see how Palantir responds. I think it's going to make new highs, but app 11, same thing. If I go to the 5-minute chart, you can see the action on this on Friday. They dump at the open. Just same thing as Palantir, just dumping at the open, weakness throughout. As soon as it goes up a little bit, it sells off. It goes up a little bit, it sells off. Goes up a little bit, it sells off. And then into the close, just an absolute dump. And then today it rallied up. Buyers came in, stepped up. So I think App 11 is fine. It's going to move on earnings, which is a ways away now. We got, more than a month to wait, but that's what drives this stock. All it's really done is pull back from that 428 to its 50 and found support. It needs to bounce. It needs to get back above 400, and it will, I believe, with a new data point. Anything can move the stock, though. I mean, an upgrade, contracts announced. So, yeah, to me, App 11 still looks pretty darn good. CoreWeave was one that I was watching today. I do not like the action in this one. I expected a nice, strong bounce here. It was this one pulled back to its 10, but it didn't really do it. If you look at the action today, this looks like window dressing to me. So it opens up, and then somebody came in and bought this thing up. They wanted it on their books, right? And then as soon as it went up, sellers came in. So that's kind of a yellow flag for me. I'd be very careful with this one. I like it, I think it's got the model book potential, but it's very volatile. And until it makes that new high above, what was it, 188? Like I said, you got to make these things prove themselves. 187. So to me, unless that thing can drive through 187, the jury's out on this one. It could go either way. All right, that's CoreWeave. Oracle, they said the business is good. Nice strong move. It came out of this little ledge pattern here, this flat ledge for a couple of weeks. First of all, it rallied hard on earnings and then formed this, couple weeks. Let's see this on the weekly. Yeah, it had a little short stroke pattern here. So the week that it rallied on earnings, it was up 23%, had gave back, what, 4.5. Last week, a quiet week, then it popped today, nearly 4%. I like Oracle. I don't like the close here today, but you get some wonky action at the end of the quarter, end of the month. So we'll see what happens with this one tomorrow here at 218. All right, what else we have? Oh, DoorDash. I had to fit DoorDash in here somewhere. I put it in the software group. This is a retail internet, and yeah, just making new highs. You know how much I like this one. Just a model book stock here that had that 3 weeks tight, then popped last week 10%. And look at it on the monthly, and I could show you a lot of these like Roblox. Yeah, we got up 20% this month. But you could see these monthly bases. I think these are just breaking out. Of course, Robinhood had a great day today, up 41% this month. And Bros getting no love from the market, down 5% last month. I don't get it. Really, I don't. I listened to their presentations, and Wall Street's just not buying their story. And I know for a fact that they're taking market share, and they're just going to have to deliver earnings and quarter after quarter, year after year, and this one's going to have to grow over time. So some stocks are being rewarded, others are not. Bros, definitely not. But I had to just show those monthly charts because I'm in love with them. Rubric today up 2%. I'm going to the cybersecurity names now. This thing to me is just forming a base. I mean, I don't think it's gonna, rip back through 100 again anytime soon. It's just gonna plod along and form a little base here. What day was this? June 6th. So, it's been nearly a month here. We give it another few weeks to form the base, but that one is taking market share and it's not going to go away. Zscaler, another one in the cybersecurity name, just flat today. Pull back to its five. CrowdStrike trying to hover above 500, doing a good job of it now. Close at 509. Palo Alto Networks 200 is its magic number. Got above it today. You can see that cup with handle. That one looks good. Cloudflare Net. This is one I had on my ready list last couple of weeks. I took it off this week because it's getting a little extended. It's not too bad, 2.2% above the five. So any day that it pulls back, to me, this is a magnet for 200 bucks. And then Fortinet, I did put this one on because it's a little tighter, trading tight within the base, and it popped 2.5% today, not bad. So that's the cybersecurity group. So I did the electrical contracting, manufacturing, software, cybersecurity, Mag 7. Oh, the medical group and the IPO stock, Hinge Health. This one, I had it on my ready list last week. I don't know if many people picked it up, but I sure did, and it's been doing well. It's a little extended here. Yeah, 10% above its five, but these IPOs, have you seen with Circle and CoreWeave, they can really rip. So, I know it's a health stock, but it's an app for health, and I don't know. I mean, it looks very strong to me. And yeah, I mean, just ride the wave there. If you don't own it, wait for the pullback. If it does pull back. TMDX, another one in the medical. I haven't covered the medical stocks for a while. It made a new high at 145, had this short report here, undercut the 21, now rallied back above it. I like TMDX right here, 134. I think I put that one on the ready list. I had like 60 stocks this weekend again. I mean, every weekend it's the same thing here, and I just cannot decide which ones to put on. If you looked at my weekend video, I showed you about half of them, and I'm going to show you some more at the end of this video. There's just a lot of stocks set up. That's why I'm bullish, not just because the indexes are making new highs or my stocks are doing well. It's that there's so many stocks still set up in bases that look good. So yeah, they're not all, and there's a lot of naysayers out there. The sentiment's still pretty negative. People reading the news and not believing. There's non-believers in the market, and then we need that. LFMD, another medical product stock, just ran up here above 15. They had a deal with Novo and Lilly, I think, both of them, or maybe just Novo, but ran hard, made that high at 1584, then pulled back to the 21, found support. So, medical product stock, I have not showed those in a long, long time, but I thought I would do it today. Got to get into some heat here. Dave, Dave's not here. Dave's off to the races, is where Dave is. This thing was up a lot today, pulled back into the close, it looked like. Yeah, this one was really ramping. Pulled back. Is up 7.5% today. Day very strong. Up after hours. SEZL, another one of these, buy now, pay later. Up only 8% today, 13 bucks, 181 after hours. Man, these things are so strong. Robinhood, I mentioned earlier, FinTech up after hours too. They have a presentation tonight. I don't really know what they're going to cover, but this might be in anticipation of the presentation, or it might be as a result of something that they said. Anyway, Robinhood, super strong stock. Easy hold here as it just does the Kelly Slater and surfs the five. But now you could say, well, it's 9.1% above the five. If you were, not a long-term holder and just a swing trader and looking to trim, today would be a good day to trim some. Wait for that, five to catch up, knowing full well that, the five is going to be much higher in a couple of days here. As we go back in the middle of last week, it was at 79.85, and today the five is at 85.84. So it's not taking very long. You don't have to hold this stock very long to make money. That's Robinhood. I got to mention the banks. The banks passed their stress test today. I don't think that's a question since the Dodd-Frank went in there. They got pretty strict regulations, and these banks are well capitalized. JP Morgan, this thing's on a heater. This thing looks like a software name. Goldman Sachs, kind of this, same thing, even, more steep, just ripping higher. So the banks are, very strong. Not an American bank, but the Bank of Montreal popping here. That one looks strong as well. Just a lot of these banks are the big banks. Wells Fargo looks good. Bank of America, just your classic standard banks. This one's could have been on our ready list, but I didn't include it because it's a little slower mover, and I had a few of those on there already. All right, enough with that. I got to go to defense. Defense wins championships. Defense and flight, whatever. They they had I don't know, what was it? Flights in Abu Dhabi was announced today, up nearly 12%. And of course, Archer had to piggyback on that. It was up nearly 4%. So an ASTS, another name in this group. Oh wow. I did not see this. Pullback to it's probably it's 10 here. I'm not going to switch back, but nice pullback there in ASTS. Down 5%. What was the other one? Rocket Lab. This one held above its five. So I wonder if there was news specific to ASTS. I did not check that out. I did mention defense. We have this one ripped on earnings last week and just plowing higher. And this is what you see in another indication of a bull market or an uptrend is when the gap's higher, like we've seen with ELF, and I just showed you with TMDX, and a lot of stocks when they gap higher, they continue on. In a bear market, they sell right off. In a sideways market, they go sideways, but in an uptrending market, they continue to get bought. Look at this big volume coming in on AV. AVGE is another defense name, just looks damn good. 257.47. I was going to put this one on my ready list, but I didn't. I'm doing it now. But there's just so many. That's what I'm saying, that a lot of these stocks that look good, set up in bases, and DRS was upgraded today, up 3.5% on the upgrade. Very nice. Just a lot of these names. Curtis Wright making new highs, doing the Stephanie Gilmore surfing, the five. I mean, yeah. So Helmet, another one, another defensive name. Yeah, I mean, just popping. This is so many names here, just that I can't cover it all. If I did, if the video would be like 2 hours, but I'm trying to get to as many as I can, as quickly as I can. GEV, this is one that was on our ready list recently. Had to take it off. It's too extended, but 529. Yeah, very nice move. CEG, I had this one on last week, I believe. I might have had GEV on last week, but took them off. This has had an inside day today, doing nothing wrong. Support at the five, and that's a thing of beauty right there. And VST, another one that's attempting the 200 here, just an inside day today. That one looks good. LEU in the um, nuclear names, they're just bouncing off their moving averages. Centrus is one, SMR, kind of a quiet day, bouncing. And then, of course, Oklo. Yeah, just trying to bounce off moving averages here. And we need a stronger bounce from those. All right, I'm going to move on. Did the defensive names, did the space names, did the energy names. Oh, okay. I had these guys on a ready list this morning. This is another one that I talk about the slower names. You can't all have core weave in your portfolio, drive you crazy. Drive me crazy. I like some of the slower names, like Walt Disney, like Rockwell that are set up. So that one looks good. Yeah, it was up 0.5% today, 2/3%. Not bad. VRT, another one in this electrical power equipment group, kind of a data center play. Definitely a data center play. Just the surfing the moving averages. This one looks fantastic as well. What else do I have in this group? AMSC. This is one that I don't show very often, but man, showing strength. Uh, had an inside day today, so yeah, just a lot of names looking really good. News this morning: GMS was bought out by Home Depot, and you can see this is your classic cup with handle. Look at that handle pullback. Yeah, and then yeah, an announcement. It was up what 12% today. Yep. So very nice. Had this big move, rumors, I guess, and I guess the deed was done with Home Depot. So congrats. So whenever I see that type of stuff, I try to look around some of the other names. So I go to, you know, um, to see what else is in this group. Some of the stronger names, Core Main. See how that did today. Nah, flat. WTS. Did that tag along? Nah, flat. Um, so Ferg, did that tag along? Nah, flat. So so that they didn't, tag along with the GMS news. So I kind of look around at some of the other names in the building heavy construction group. And STRL was flat. TPC, this is one that's on our relative strength list. This one's flat. So maybe a rotation into these. These things are super strong. And I think if they pull back to the five, they're going to find support. I believe power or quanta services. Yeah, this one pulled back to its five today. So that's kind of what you're looking for, these pullbacks to buy. All right. So that's enough of that group. I just want to go through a couple names that were strong today, just showing heat on the heat list. This is MGNI, kind of a computer ad, which kind of reminds me of like the trade desk. It didn't quite tag along, but it was up almost 4%. So that's a nice move for that one. PUBM, that one was up as well. So yeah, this group very strong. BUR, have no idea what they do. I do know that it was up 22% though. SYM robotics play. Up with volume. Can't ignore that. That's a nice move. And I'm going to go through a couple names. Irene was my mom's name, so I kind of like this stock. Got rejected at 15 today. We'll see if it can blow through 15 like poop through a goose, or if it gets rejected there like Matombo this week. This is a data center play, man. This thing, I think it's going much higher. If we take a look at the weekly chart, yeah, this is a name that to me, this looks fantastic here. And if it can just get above these old highs, I think Irene could be off to the races. It's not Irene, it's IREN. But anyway, I digress. AEVA, another name that's on our, yeah, this thing's on a heater. OUST on a heater as well, but pull back to the five and then bounce slightly today. No one that definitely you need to watch. And I hope everyone's sitting down because I'm going to introduce a name here that I haven't talked about in a long, long time. China stock that was really, the name was mud for a long, long time. And the restaurant group has been terrible, but Luckin Coffee, for crying out loud, up with volume. This thing's just been on a heater, man. And setting up in a base there. A lot of the restaurant names and that I'm going to get off this. I'm kind of only half joking here, but it is consolidating within a base. Am I going to buy it? No, uh, because there's too many other names. I'd rather buy something like Brinker, or the one that I showed earlier was Bros, or you might even be a, bottom fisher and buy something like Sweet Green, which has been in a man. This is a that's what you call a stage 4 downtrend. But hey, it was up last week. and it broke above its downtrend line, up 10% last week, up nearly 10% today, and you could say it definitely broke above its downtrend line. And maybe if you're a bottom feeder or bottom picker, which I'm not, you'd buy that. But like I said, Luckin Coffee's out. I'd rather buy a Dutch Bros or definitely rather buy Dutch Bros, which is still set up here, even though it's not getting any love, or Brinker. And okay, that's it. I better stop there. In honor of the great Steve Jobs, I'm just gonna stay humble, stay hungry, stay foolish. And I have one more thing. Actually, I have a couple more things. I did a video. I didn't do a video on IPOs. I'm going to do a video on IPOs, and it's growing. A list of IPOs is growing, and that's a sign of a healthy market where companies want to come public. And I just want to mention a few more that I didn't, on the weekend video. CIGL Security Safety Stock from Singapore. This one was up 52% today, so that's a move not to be ignored. Volume coming in on this one. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what these things do. I just know that they're going higher and they're getting some love from the market. This is Smart Digital Group. Yeah, up on volume, up 42% today. Another IPO name. I mentioned earlier, HNGE, another IPO that's getting some love here. So I'm not going to ignore these names. If Wall Street wants to buy these, I'm all for it. Smithfield Foods, another IPO, pulled back to its 21, found support, bounced a little bit today. Newsmax has not gotten much love, but it was up 14% today. Just saying, I'm just saying, just observing what's going on in the market. This is Galaxy Digital. I don't know what they do. I just know that it's forming an IPO base. It got above that 2130, is up 10% today. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, folks, I'm just saying. Siona Therapeutics. This is, a shot in the dark, one of these biotechs that are just, if you look at their balance sheet, I mean, losing a ton of money, not a little bit of money, a ton of money. They have no debt though, and somebody's buying them. Yeah, got a short interest here. Maybe the shorts are covering. I don't know. But I just wanted to point that out. And then I mentioned earlier that there were so many names. I'm just going to go through these quickly that I was on my watch list. I don't know which ones to pick, so I'm just going to go through these. Some are slower names like Disney, some are faster names. I do have, I showed Oracle earlier. Shopify is another one, that I like. I don't know. TMDX, I mentioned that one earlier. And then Twilio. Yeah, this one looks good to me as well. So this is how I cannot decide. TOST. I'm not sure if I put that one on or not. NBIS. So you can write these down. I'm just going to go through these quickly. Yeah, I didn't put this on like a dummy and it was up nearly 7%. Upstart. I don't think I put this one on. I like that one as well. GTES. This is one of those electrical power equipment stocks, data center. Plays just had an inside day today. I don't think I put that one on either. There's just so many names. So many names. This was Emerson Electric. That one looks good to me as well. It's just, which area Wall Street wants to, support and buy on a particular day or week. This one's down 13% after hours. That might be a fat finger glitch. I have to wait and see on that one. I did not put that one on the red list. KD, not the basketball player, but the stock software name, very strong stock, cup with handle pattern. I love that. Look, ENSG, another one that I did not put on. Looks good to me. Trading tight within a base, near its moving averages. PODD, medical product stock. I put TMDX on, but this one looks good as well. What else do I have? Oh, Google. I showed you Google earlier. I like Google. And that one could appear later on. IONQ, I'm not a real fan of these stocks without, much sales or earnings, but I am a fan of this technical setup, this little pennant type. Oh man, this thing was up 7% today. Well, maybe I missed it. Darn. Oh well, nice pop there. That's what you want to see out of that pennant pattern. Oh well. Eat. I showed you that one earlier. I like that one. Carvana, another one. I don't think I put it on, but I definitely like this one. breaking above this little downtrend line here. So, man, up this one was up 5.5%. So maybe I'm gonna have to skip that one. And Elf is another one that I like. Elf and Odd, I like them both. This is down 1.5% today. Odd, it was kind of flat. But anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. A ton of names. That's why I'm bullish. Not only the markets, indexes making new highs, our leading stocks are making new highs, and there's a ton of stocks set up, not just those 20, 25 names that I showed you. There's a ton more, and then I don't have enough time. Thank you for watching. NMCstockcharts.com. We never give up.